Good evening and welcome to tonight's experiment, which asks, is it possible to program somebody to kill and without them realizing it? Conspiracy theorists claim that the CIA hypnotized unsuspecting candidates to carry out assassinations in the 50s and 60s, most notably that of Senator Robert Kennedy. Tonight we'll find out if that's even possible or just the stuff of movie fiction.
Oh my God. Senator Kennedy has been shot in the head.
In June 1968, 24-year-old Palestinian refugee Sirhan shot dead presidential candidate Robert Kennedy in a hotel pantry. More than 40 years later, he still claims to have no memory of committing the act.
I don't remember. I must have been too hypnotized, too much out of my senses to really be aware of what happened.
It was obvious that he had been programmed to kill Robert Kennedy and programmed to forget that he'd been programmed.
During tonight's experiment, I'll be testing to see whether such unlikely-sounding claims are actually possible. So, I'm about to give a demonstration of hypnosis to an audience of people who've applied to take part in my show, and I haven't prepared these people in any way. I'm going to show you from scratch how it is that I can create a hypnotic state. But what they don't know is that I'm actually on the lookout for a perfect candidate that I can program to carry out the assassination of a well-known figure at a public event. Now, nothing like this has ever been attempted before. Unless, of course, the claims of the conspiracy theorists are true. Enjoy tonight's experiment. Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you all for coming. What's your name? Cara. Stand up for me. Let me take your hands. Just press your palms together like that. And really press them together. And look at me right here. Then I'll just close your eyes for a second. The more you try to unlock your hands when I let go, the more you try to unstick them harder and harder, the more they keep on pressing, just like this. And the more you try now to unstick those hands, Cara, the more they keep on sticking. So what's going through your head? Let me get you a microphone. Thank you. Now, you're fully wide awake.
Yes.
You're not in some weird sort of zombie-like state or whatever people think hypnosis is.
No.
And they're genuinely stuck, aren't they?
Yeah, when I try to move my hands, my arms are just like, nope, not having it. I'm sticking together and I can feel them pushing.
And what's actually happening here? The idea that her hands are stuck, that I've given her, is stronger than her own sense, her own rational sense that she must be able to pull them apart. So how do you clear something like this? Once you've created it, how do you clear it? Well, there's two things. First of all, I won't, but I could tell her that they're cleared. Or if something else happened that sort of took her mind off it, it wouldn't actually kind of, they'd probably just come apart anyway. Just take a seat for me, Cara. Just want to choose one of you at random. Just take a seat. Want to choose one of you at random. Just, Cara, throw this back and choose someone. They start to come apart. And there they are. Let's move on to looking at the idea of a hypnotic trance. There, what's your name? John. John, have you come, John? Lovely to meet you. What do you do for a living, John?
IT.
IT. Excellent. Thanks ever so much for coming up. And look at me now. Look at your hand, and you just sleep. And back you go. That's good. And you can just let yourself sink right the way down, and right the way deep, and right the way sound asleep. So it looks very impressive. It's one of the most dramatic demonstrations of hypnosis to be able to hypnotize somebody like that. It's called a snap induction. What's actually happening there is I'm interrupting an automatic process for John. Shaking hands is something you don't think about. It's just this automatic process. And to interrupt somebody in the middle of something that's very automatic is very kind of confusing and bewildering for people. It throws you completely. And at that point, you'll become highly suggestible because you want relief from the confusion. So if you induce that confusion by interrupting an automatic process and then give them a specific piece of information like sleep, not everybody, but most people will absolutely kind of embrace that. So what you've just seen might have looked dramatic, but it was achieved through nothing more than ordinary suggestion. It would be a little impractical to do this with all of you, so with the rest of you, we're going to take it a little bit more slowly. Now, under the 1952 Hypnotism Act, we cannot broadcast the complete process of hypnotic induction in case you, the audience at home, go under and can't be brought out. Close your eyes for me. But I can explain how it's done, and the key to this is relaxation and focus. I'm going to begin by creating tension, so I want you to keep breathing normally, but to tense up. And then relax completely. And as you relax, you'll feel yourself just drifting down into this sleep state. And just my voice just there in the center of your head. As you wonder just how deeply you can sink, and you can drift, and you can float, and right the way down, and right the way deep, and right the way sound asleep. Now that's all I've done. I've just got them very relaxed and focused. But the more suggestible people, when in that state, will begin to respond to my instructions. When your eyes are open, when I've counted you awake, your name will be gone from your mind. Now, I know this sounds odd. I know you know me. I'm Derren, but what's your name? Try and remember. What is it, if you really try?
I'm a million miles away. It's just nothing coming out.
Nothing coming out, no. So let's do this side first. Take a look at me. Take a deep breath in. And then just sleep right the way back down, right the way. They appear to fall asleep because I click my fingers. In reality, the mixture of my confidence and their expectation that that's what they're supposed to do is enough for them to take it as a cue to go back under. You'll find yourself absolutely, rigidly stuck into position. Have you ever been had this sort of thing done before?
No.
Have you been hypnotised before? Or?
No, I can't move at all.
First time you've done something like this?
First time, yeah.
And what's it like? What's going on? What's it feel like?
If I push at force of 1, it's like it's pushing back at 2.
These tests are helping me whittle down the number of likely candidates for tonight's experiment. Let me keep you, sir, and you're going to stay here as well. And finally, I've identified 4 people who I believe will make the most suitable potential assassins. Now we're going to examine what hypnosis can actually do. How far will people go while in a trance? Are they genuinely under some influence or just playing along? We're going to find out with the help of a classic test from the 1950s. And to help me with it is Professor Zoltan Dianas from Sussex University, a leading expert in the field of hypnosis and its impact on the subconscious.
Now the question is, could we make a person do something antisocial or dangerous because we give them a hypnotic suggestion?
And this is the test for that. The acid test, in fact. This chamber contains a foil-wrapped mannequin's head, over which a technician will pour highly dangerous hydrochloric acid. My 4 candidates are kitted out with safety gear and a beaker. I'm going to ask them to throw acid in someone's face. This exercise will show whether hypnosis can make you do things you wouldn't do if you were just playing along. If the subject is playing along, he won't throw the acid and he certainly won't carry out an assassination. Sleep. You can stand and sleep quite comfortably. Sleep. That's very good. Sleep. That's lovely. And sleep. You can stand and sleep quite comfortably. Excellent. Very good. In a little while, when you've woken up, we're going to put some hydrochloric acid in each one of those beakers. In front of you is an individual, a volunteer from the audience, we're going to call your target. And when you're awake, after a little while, you will see a blue and white polka dot handkerchief. As soon as you see the polka dot handkerchief, blue with white polka dots, you will throw your beaker of acid into the face of the target stood opposite you. If that makes sense to you, I want you to nod your head if you understand that, if it makes sense. Excellent. Good. Without the candidate's knowledge, we've switched the acid for water, and they're now awoken. Eyes open, wide awake. Thank you. Laurence, if you can please take some of the acid and give them each a dose in their beaker. Excellent. Good, excellent. So, Professor, how long have you been working in this field for?
I went to Sydney in the mid-80s for my master's, and there was a master's by research. And my research was hypnosis. So that's when
sorry, could you hang on just a second, excuse me. Excellent. 4 out of 4. All 4 commit a highly dangerous act. Now, I only need 2 of them, so I've decided to continue with Alex and Chris. What happened?
Yeah, I just kind of instinctively did it.
I just had the impulse to throw it in his face.
The final candidates are about to be put through a challenge that could seriously affect their health. The ice plunge test, overseen by Dr. Stuart Derbyshire, Director of Pain Imaging at Birmingham University.
So hypnosis can be used as a very powerful analgesic. If we tell the person the water is warm or tell them that their arm is anaesthetized, they put it in the ice water and they don't feel the pain anymore.
And importantly, you couldn't do this just by sort of playing along.
It'd be pretty tough to do that.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, let's welcome our two strapping volunteers. We have Chris and Alex, everybody. With the water temperature approaching freezing levels, Alex and Chris can only keep their arms in the ice bath for just under 7 seconds. Both out about the same time?
About there, yeah.
What's it like?
Horrendous.
It is very cold, isn't it? Good. Sleep and stand and sleep. Sleep. This should change once the hypnotic suggestion is planted. Completely comfortable. You have to lower your arm in. Hold it there as long as you like. You simply will not experience any sensation of cold. It'll be completely comfortable, feeling just a lukewarm, room temperature sensation. Open your eyes, be wide awake. So just slowly, you can both of you just lower your hand in. It's a very different feeling now, isn't it? It's like you're pushing past, those sort of plastic ice cubes that you can get. Now, what's it like now? How would you describe it, Alex?
It's like the water's not there, it's just body temperature.
Yeah? What's it like for you, Chris?
Yeah, it's fine.
Pre-hypnosis, Alex and Chris couldn't keep their hands in for more than a few seconds. This time, they stay in for 2 minutes. So when I touch the side of the bath, when I grab that, the suggestion will clear. Look. Now what's it like?
Oh, it's horrendous, horrible.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know why I've done that, to be honest.
So, no, but the moment but look, I'm holding this here, and at the moment you're feeling pain, right? You are feeling pain in that arm now, yes? But now look, if I let go, quite calm.
The warm sensation returns.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's gone back to being warm.
The thermal image camera clearly shows the effect of the icy water on the two men. The dark areas on their arms indicate the temperature has dropped dramatically, while the rest of their bodies register normal heat. Right, thank you. Alex, I'm going to ask you just to pop back in your seat there for a second. Chris, I'm going to keep you up here for a little longer. Throughout the evening, I've been assessing both candidates, and I've come to the conclusion that Chris is my perfect subject. There's something of a blank slate about him, which suggests a heightened responsiveness to suggestion. Now I need to confirm that he's in the top 1% of subjects, which is what the experiment requires. Look at me and sleep. Sleep, just stand and sleep quite comfortably, that's good. And again, you see, it's not just about your hands and forearms. This is your entire body. The brain controls the entire body. With the water temperature plunging further, I'm going to test Chris's hypnotic responses in a way that has never been done before. I'm going to get him to immerse his whole body in the ice bath. After only 15 minutes in water this cold, Chris's vital organs will start to shut down. After 30 minutes, he could die. But if through hypnosis Chris is able to create the false reality that the water feels warm, he won't feel the pain and will be able to stay immersed in the ice-cold water. So your heart rate at the moment is about 136 BPM. Is that normal?
When he first gets in, there's a shock of getting in and it would go spike, and then as he sat there it would gradually slow down until he dies.
Excellent. To ensure his safety, a team of paramedics is standing by. So just slowly, take all the time, just so it's nice and comfy, just pop yourself down. And control the breathing, just breathe in and out and just take your time. After 1 minute in the water, Chris's heart rate has dropped from 136 beats per minute to 107. At 50 BPM, the paramedics will be forced to step in. Okay, we're going to bring you out, but before we do, what's that like at the moment?
Awkward,
Awkward position, but apart from that?
Yeah, it's fine.
Absolutely fine. The water is now 1.4 degrees away from turning into a solid block of ice, and his heart rate has dropped to 85 BPM. He's clearly very capable of dissociating himself from the freezing temperature. The test is a success. When I grab the side of the bath, the suggestion will clear. At the moment, it's completely comfortable. And watch what happens when I touch the side of the bath. Okay, I would step out. We're going to wrap you up and get you into a special thermal tank that will just bring you back to a normal temperature. Thank you so much, Chris. I think we've probably found our best subject by far this evening. Well done. This is an experiment that hasn't been done before, Chris, so you've just made hypnotic history there. Well done. Chris, everybody, let's hear it for Chris. So it seems I found my trainee assassin, but do our experts think training a killer is even possible? We talk about the acid test just for a moment, which really interested me. It looks very dramatic. 4 people just throw acid in the face of other people, but of course this isn't quite real life in this sort of situation, is it?
That's exactly right. Because this is a TV studio, part of the person will infer that this is safe.
What about the kind of CIA stories of programming somebody to become an assassin and go and kill somebody in real life, not in a sort of mock-up situation, but in real life? Would you expect that to happen?
No, we have good reason to think that people would not do that. These are just myths.
I mean, the only way you would get somebody to do that if they're already predisposed to do that. In other words, if they quite like the idea of killing somebody, then you give them permission to do it.
And if there was no sign of that, just a regular guy?
No, you can't get a regular guy to go and kill somebody for no reason.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for coming along today. Excellent.
Cheers.
So the academics seem pretty certain that what I'm attempting here is unachievable. And it may be. It really may be. The whole point of this is to find out whether or not it's possible, so only time will tell. If this experiment is to succeed, neither Chris, a sports marketing executive, nor his family and friends can have any idea that I'm going to try and program him into becoming an assassin. As far as they're all concerned, he's simply taking part in a show that explores the limits of hypnotism. We talked to the people closest to him and slipped in some questions about violence.
He's a very peace-loving person, so I can't imagine him being violent in any sort of way.
I don't think Chris would do anything bad to anybody. Ultimately, I don't think he'd hurt a fly.
Interestingly, this is what the younger brother of Bobby Kennedy's killer, Sirhan, says about the convicted assassin's character prior to the murder.
If we were sitting here and a fly happened to venture in, Sirhan would open the door, and he'd try to make it go out again. It's just not conceivable to me that he would take a gun and actually use it against the person.
In order to condition Chris to become an assassin, I'll be using brainwashing techniques allegedly employed by the CIA's MK-Ultra program in the 1960s. There are 2 key stages to this process: the marksman mode and spontaneous amnesia. Eyewitness accounts report that Robert Kennedy's assassin, Sirhan, was in a trance-like state during the shooting. Under hypnosis, the convicted killer has since said that he thought he was firing at a target in a rifle range and not at a human being. He claims a mystery woman in a polka dot dress pinched him on the shoulder to send him into this range or marksman mode. I'm going to try to create a similar mode for Chris, which will come into play if and when he attempts to assassinate his celebrity target. So I've brought him to a rifle range just outside London to meet Angie, an independent firearms instructor. So the point of today is to see how hypnosis can improve marksmanship and your aim. Have you ever done anything like this before?
Not really.
Not really?
Bit of paintballing.
Oh, okay. Well, this is a bit of a step up. This is a lever-action rifle, such as every American child is issued with. And we are using live rounds here.
Yes, we are.
Because Chris has never fired live rounds before, he's getting a safety briefing and an introductory lesson in how to shoot a gun. He starts with the Winchester .38 caliber lever-action rifle.
Direct down. That's it. Right back there. That's it. And a nice gentle squeeze. The back at the side.
Chris is slowly getting used to handling and firing the weapon, but it's a long way from the natural assassin I'm trying to create.
Not very good.
On his first attempt, Chris completely misses the bullseye.
You've lifted the front sight, and it's reacted and brought the bullets higher. Okay.
Chris believes we're here to improve his aim through hypnosis. Just take a deep breath in, and then just go back into that sleep. And you bring the gun up, breathe in, and then a comfortable, steady breathe out. And it's on that out breath that you squeeze the trigger. His aim may improve, but more importantly, I'll also be creating the marksman mode he needs to slip into during the assassination attempt. There's a mode that you move into, and we'll call it the marksman. It's almost like a personality within you that you move into when you bring the gun up. And your unconscious mind will allow you to do that with the focus and relaxation and concentration of that experienced marksman. Next, I'll need to implant an audio trigger that, once set off, will automatically put Chris into marksman mode. So this is the sound. It's going to lodge itself very deeply into your unconscious. So whenever you hear that sound, whenever you hear that ringtone, your mind will shift to this marksman state. And then, as you feel it take you over, as you feel everything just moving into place and everything settling, when you're ready to give yourself that final bit of focus, you bring your finger up, you can do that now, touch yourself on the forehead, and then you become the marksman. That's very good. Will my suggestions have an effect on Chris? Now, as you do this, or maybe before you pick up the gun, I want you to trigger the state, which is your right finger on your forehead, and then go into it. Remember, the first time, Chris completely missed the bullseye. Wow.
That's brilliant.
That's amazing. So you've got two right in the very centre, and then one just on that outside bit, and then the other two very close.
That is very, very good.
And you've never done this before with a real gun?
No, not at all, no.
That is really good, isn't it, Angie?
To get groupings like this on the first time of shooting is absolutely amazing. You've done really well.
Excellent. This is very impressive. I was expecting some improvement, but nothing like this. In the marksman mode I've given him, he's hit 2 bullseyes. Now we give Chris a different gun to make sure that his improvement isn't a fluke. What he doesn't know is that it's similar to the pistol he'll be given for the assassination. This time I use the ringtone to trigger the marksman mode. Right, so before, the most you'd ever got was 2 in the centre, and that's 4 in the centre. Did that feel any different, doing that?
Yeah, I think like there was just a bit more concentration and just, yeah, kind of bring it into a bit of a focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that result at all. There's no way. You know, he should have been able to get those groups on the first go. So whatever Derren did, I think it's absolutely amazing.
In terms of the experiment, it's not important how many bullseyes Chris hits. What's vital is that he can achieve this marksman state, and to that end, the assassination programming appears to be working. I've completed the first stage of Chris's programming, the marksman mode, in which, upon hearing a specific trigger, he goes into a trance and inhabits the role of a top-level shooter. Each time he enters the marksman mode, he should believe he's back at the rifle range. I want to make sure this happens, so I brought him away from the gun range to this warehouse building to repeat the test. What was that like? Where were you? What was your experience of doing that?
I found it quite easy to actually go back as if I was there at the range. Like a lot of my smells and the kind of sensation of bringing the gun up was just like actually doing it.
Yeah, okay, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted to hear from you. Good. In the second part of the assassin programming process, I'm going to create gaps in Chris's memory. A form of spontaneous amnesia designed to make him forget his actions if and when he attempts the assassination. Sirhan claims that he has no memory of killing Bobby Kennedy.
I have never been able to remember what happened in that place at that time, but I have not been able to remember many things and incidents which took place in the weeks leading up to the shooting.
In March 2011, he was denied parole for the 14th time because he hasn't shown enough remorse or taken full responsibility for the crime that he says he doesn't remember committing.
We note with some degree of distrust, quite frankly, you're remembering parts of this and not remembering others.
Do you remember the last time you had amnesia?
No.
It's not a question, but it's if you think about, for example, when you drive home. Do you drive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you had that experience of driving in a car when perhaps you're taking a familiar route home that you've taken many times, and you get home and you can't quite remember taking the journey? I mean, these are quite ordinary everyday experiences, but you know that feeling.
Yeah.
Good. I want to show you how you can create that, and also to be able to go into the trance with your eyes open. I want you to look at this pattern. And as you look at that, I want you to go into the trance, but keep your eyes open. You will have absolutely no memory of anything that occurs during the time that you're in the state. And whenever you see this polka dot design, whether it's on a screen like this or on a handkerchief or anywhere, you will move instantly and comfortably into this trance state. And then when the design is taken away from your field of vision, you come back up and out of the sleep state, just as if you were being counted awake, with no memory of what happened in between. So you can look at the screen for a bit there, and then you can stop looking at the screen. How long were you looking at the screen for?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Oh, that is probably about right, isn't it? Excellent. So stand up for me. Just come and stand about there. Your PIN number that you use at the moment, do you use it for loads of things, or is it just for getting cash out the machine?
Mainly just my cash machine.
Okay. So if I was to tell you your PIN number, if I could work that out from you, you could go and change that, and it wouldn't be a huge deal. You're not upsetting a million other things that you use the same number for.
No, not particularly, no.
Okay. All right, good. So you're happy for me to do this if I can get it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, all right. Think of your PIN number. You got it? Just think of the number. And obviously you wouldn't have told anybody what this is. No, that wouldn't make any sense. So just think of the number. Good. That's good. Say the number.
1054.
Good. Just think of it, visualize the number, imagine yourself at the machine. Look at me. 1.
Yeah.
0.
Yeah.
1054. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that your PIN number?
Yeah.
Good, I was pleased I got that right. I thought I was going to get that wrong. PIN numbers are difficult. Thank you very much for today.
No problem.
Excellent, it's been a fun morning. Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite strange that he knew my PIN number because I don't tell anyone. It's not like he could have asked someone who knew. I haven't told him, I haven't written it down anywhere. So I'm baffled, I guess. I don't know how he worked it out.
Chris was doing well, so after a long afternoon, it was time to unwind and have a chat. Good shoes, by the way. You always seem to wear really good shoes. They're, it's just impressive. I like shoes, and very good shoes.
Thank you.
I used to be a pickpocket when I was younger.
Okay.
And I used to steal all sorts of things from people, and used to take people's watches. There's a way of, basically, as you sort of talk to somebody and take hold of their wrists and so on, you can remove a watch from their wrist. And ties and all sorts of other things, wallets, obviously. And the most impressive thing that I used to steal from people when I was a pickpocket, only for entertainment reasons, was people's shoes. This is how I sort of got into liking shoes, I guess. And would you just sort of, don't look at your shoes at the moment. I don't want you considering too much how obviously well they're tied up and everything, but how do you think that I could just steal your shoe from you without you realising?
No, not really. I mean, I guess somehow, because you're Derren Brown, but no, not really.
Appreciate your faith. But it would seem impossible, wouldn't it? Because you're stood on them. A watch, you can maybe imagine I could sort of move you around a bit. But, or what if I told you that actually I'd already stolen your shoe?
What? No, what's happened?
Good, isn't it? Were you aware of me doing that?
No, not at all. No, I don't know when that's happened.
Because that was just on there a few seconds ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You've no memory of me taking that off you? Didn't feel anything?
No, the last thing I can remember is when you just pointed at my shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no, it's gone.
So no idea where it is? I've hidden it somewhere.
No.
I put it in the bread bin just there. Go on, take it out. I'm very quick. It's a kind of a speed thing. But honestly, you had no conception of me taking that off you.
No. No, not at all.
I'd put it back on. It takes a while to do the laces up. So let's back it up and see exactly what's happened there. Just sleep, just sink down into that sleep state. That's very good. When you see the polka dot design and enter that trance state, you will remove one shoe. You will put it into the bread bin. I used to be a pickpocket when I was younger.
Okay.
And I used to steal all sorts of things from people and used to take people's watches. There's a way of, basically, as you sort of talk to somebody and take hold of their wrists and so on, you can remove a watch from their wrist. And ties and all sorts of other things, wallets, obviously. And the most impressive thing that I used to steal from people when I was a pickpocket, only for entertainment reasons, was people's shoes. Chris is reacting perfectly to the trigger and appears capable of the amnesia required to make this experiment a success. Now that I've taken Chris through the key processes required to brainwash him into attempting a public assassination, I need a dry run to see if the experiment will work at all in real life. I'm taking Chris out to dinner, but he'll have no idea he's being filmed by cameras hidden throughout the restaurant. So
Yeah.
what's the most sort of outrageous thing you have done?
The bungee jump was the most petrifying by a long way. I've done 2 now, but you're walking under a bridge, like hung up like just a metal grid on the bridge, underneath the bridge. Sorry. So that was much worse than the actual process of jumping. It was quite strange.
Everyone else here knows that something may happen and not to react if it does.
I was looking to be a skydiver at one point.
Yeah, we all were, weren't we?
Yeah, oh, of course, yeah.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Chris, have a look at the wine list. This is the first true test to see if the training is working. Will he complete the task I'm about to give him? Excellent. You need to open that so you can take the gun out. Now your target is the guy sat almost behind me, just to the side with the blue and white check shirt. You can wake up whenever you're ready. 3, 2, 1. Look at that one, there's nothing in it. You get that?
But when you've got all those things tied around your ankles and you do a drop like that, do you feel it yank?
In order to find out whether Chris really did pull the trigger without having any knowledge of his actions, I've arranged for him to take a lie detector test, run by the UK's first polygraph examiner, Bruce Burgess. What I want to test today is to see at what level that hypnosis is working at. It's important to me that it is genuinely really happening and that when he can't remember, he really can't remember. Right. So this is to see whether this can essentially beat a polygraph.
Well, if he genuinely doesn't believe that he did it and he doesn't remember he did it, then he will come out truthful.
Exactly.
No question of that.
If Chris lies, there will be a peak in his heart rate, his breathing will quicken, and he'll produce more sweat. These are unconscious reactions, there's no way to mask them. In order to have a baseline, the examiner will first ask a series of questions Chris has no reason to lie in response to.
Is your first name Chris?
Yes.
When you last went shopping, did you smell custard pie in someone's face?
No.
Between the ages of 16 and 20, do you remember deliberately about the issues we are discussing? Do you intend to answer? Did you set up a stink bomb in the library? The other day when you were in a restaurant, did you shoot someone with a water pistol?
No.
So, you had a chance to interview Chris. What's your conclusion?
Generally, I do not believe that he knows that he squirted that water pistol. I don't think he had any recollection of that at all.
So if this were a case, your advice would be at this point that no, he didn't shoot a water pistol at somebody in a restaurant?
That's correct. He was truthful.
Writer, actor and broadcaster Stephen Fry is en route to a London venue where he'll be giving a talk to a packed house of fans.
I'll see you later on. Thanks very much.
Two things need to be in place for this experiment to genuinely answer our question. First of all, Chris has to believe that the gun that he has in his possession is a real gun and loaded with live bullets. And secondly, he cannot know that he's being filmed. As far as Chris is concerned, this has to be a real-life situation. We've told Chris we need to film with him and Stephen Fry later tonight after Stephen's talk, and we've suggested that he might as well stay and hear the talk as well. He doesn't know we're filming.
I am going to have to head back to the office now, which is really annoying. But is it all right if I give you something to give Derren after Stephen does his talk, and when you meet him after that? Is that all right? Okay.
A member of my team takes Chris into an empty dressing room prior to the show.
Okay, this is really important for you to know.
Yeah.
This gun is loaded with 3 bullets. So don't touch it.
Yeah.
Keep it with you until you see Derren and Stephen after Stephen's finished his talk.
Okay.
The thing is, I know you have it, but whatever you do, don't lose it.
Meanwhile, his celebrity target, Stephen Fry, prepares to go on stage.
Wow.
Special effects experts insert fake blood packs into his jacket in case Chris does pull the trigger during his performance. A few minutes before Stephen's talk begins, Chris takes a seat in the auditorium, unaware that hidden cameras are filming his every movement. The people surrounding him, who include security guards and firearms experts, know about the experiment. But the rest of the audience is here just to see Stephen Fry and has absolutely no idea of what could happen. After 17 minutes, he'll get his first trigger. What happens afterwards will determine whether this experiment succeeds or fails.
Thank you all. Good luck, everybody.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please give him a massive warm welcome, Mr. Stephen Fry.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. How very kind. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're very, very sweet. Thank you for coming. It's incredibly kind of you to come to this this little event. I wanted to talk about an enthusiasm that has consumed me, without me knowing it, almost all my life. You'll understand why I say almost when I tell you about it. What I'm obviously thinking of is language. A few evolutionary things were necessary for mankind to speak language, but once we had language, then everything else followed. It is absolutely the spring of all we are. In our culture, we keep certain words in a special place in our brain. But I remember going to the Turkana people in northern Kenya. Kenya alone has 69 languages. And the Turkana people speak one which is related to only one of the other 69, the Nilo-Hamitic language. It's a beautiful language, it's rich, it's like English, it's full of... Oh, there's always one, isn't there? God bless her. Thank you. Well done. Amazing ideas, brilliant concepts. But it's been swamped. It's been swamped by Swahili. That's the problem, you see. These other languages like Swahili are swamping Africa, just as English is swamping Europe and the world and the internet, and Mandarin Chinese is swamping the Orient. No one really understands how to save a language or whether a language is worth saving. France, for example, has the language of Oxford. And the French have absolutely no interest, the rest of France, in saving it. Indeed, I went to visit the Académie Française, which I'm sure you've heard of, which is a very extraordinary institution. The Académie Française is for these ancient people who are great minds and thinkers, and they decide which words are allowed into the French language, which words are permissible, which words you might, say, are forbidden, and which words are not forbidden. So they also make words up. Courriel, they decided, would be the word for email. They were not going to have le email or l'email. Ordinateur, they decided, would be a computer, an ordinateur. And so they made up, words that were not allowed to enter the French language, which is, let's be honest, it's pissing into the wind. You can't.
One second. Stephen, happy get?
Oh, good.
Well done.
Phew.
Here we are. Oh. You're going to change your jacket. Thank you. I just explain what's going on here. This is the culmination of quite a few months' work to see whether it's a gentleman called Chris, who's currently in a hypnotic trance, see whether it's possible to hypnotically program a person to kill. Chris, as far as he's concerned, just carried out a real assassination. Stephen was in on that, and there was no danger at all. Here he is. Stephen, everybody. Africa. I'm talking to you now, Chris. So I'm now going to count you away. 3, 2, 1.
Chicana is just one example, as I say, of 69 Kenyan languages. One thing of language is a kind of tragedy. In the end, what I want to concentrate on more than anything else is language as a source of pride and beauty. All of you have language in your head. I hope you go out into the world a little more amazed.
Anything strange happened during the talk?
No.
I'm going to show you some footage of something that did happen. We actually had a camera on you. I know we didn't let you know that we were filming, which was important. Do you remember that woman in the polka dot dress?
No.
Don't remember her turning around talking to you?
No.
Remember that bit?
No.
Yes, at the moment you will have no memory of this at all, but you just assassinated a national treasure.
Yeah, you shot me.
Okay, so look, you know when you have a dream and you have no memory of it, and then somebody says something that just kind of triggers it, and then bit by bit it just starts to come back. And if you do think about it now, just start to think back for me. It's just like a mental block that you have there at the moment. And you can just start to let that go, and you can start to let it... What's coming back to you?
I remember the polka dot woman coming in there. And yeah, just kind of picking the gun up from the side like I was told.
Where did you think you were?
Nowhere, but if anywhere, it was closest to the range, because I could visualise the lights going down and the target, and picking it up felt like I was picking it off that bench.
Did you feel anything when you were aiming a loaded gun at Stephen?
Not really. No. Just felt like the outline of the target.
Wow.
Tonight's experiment is about how easily we can be manipulated. Can an innocent person be persuaded to confess to a murder that he hasn't committed? We all fall prey to unnecessary guilt. Guilt has been used as a tool to manipulate us throughout history. The church has encouraged all manner of damaging guilt around the notion of sex, and feelings of guilt and shame are the primary modern causes of depression. To break free from it, we need to first see how it can take us in its grip. To do so tonight, we need an innocent person, a really nice guy. Well, our innocent person is called Jody. He's on his way here now. We've invited him to a completely fabricated conference. He has no idea it's anything to do with me, and no idea that everybody he's going to meet here is an actor. And I'm going to use them to trigger a series of events which will hopefully compel him to confess to a murder that hasn't even happened. So this is Jody as we first met him a few weeks ago when we auditioned various people to be in my shows without telling any of them what it was going to be about.
I work with children. I work in a Sure Start centre for children under 5. Do I enjoy it? Oh, God, yeah. I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy it.
We also secretly contacted his friends and family to find out more about him.
Everyone that meets him instantly loves him.
Jody is the kind of brother who you can turn to in a time of need, and he'll always be there.
He just loves being with people, and he likes making people happy.
It's clear that Jody is the least likely person to ever commit a murder. Now, he has seen my shows and is aware of what he might be getting himself into. He's also been screened to make sure he would be psychologically robust enough to take part. So, working with his family and friends, we told him that he'd failed the audition. And then weeks later, we posed as organisers of a special weekend seminar and invited him to this historic country house hotel. Now, Jody will be here soon, so I've got to go and hide myself, so enjoy tonight's experiment. Over the next few days, this house will host Student Futures, a seminar about getting students successfully into the workplace. We've invited Jody to give a talk on life as a recent graduate, and so far, he believes every word. During his stay, he'll be filmed by 21 covert cameras and one crew on the ground that Jody will be told is filming a promotional video of the event.
Go to a tighter shot as we can on the group around the sofa.
From my control room behind the stable block, I'll be able to observe an army of actors who I've spent days training in the guilt-mongering techniques necessary to manipulate Jody into confessing to a crime that he hasn't even committed.
Hello there, all right?
Welcome to Bradley House. My name's Daniel, I'm the house manager.
Steve White.
I've created a cast of characters to speak at the fake event. There's the entrepreneur, Steve White, the Reverend Jenny Green, Professor Alice Plummer, Miss Scarlett Evans, the retired Colonel Sir Robert Coleman, and not forgetting our future murder victim, Dr. Patrick Black.
Here he comes, here he comes.
Okay, let's follow up on camera 3, please.
Good luck, everyone.
Okay, depending on where Jody goes, let's follow him up on camera 1.
Could I take your name, please?
It's Jody Rasagin.
Rasagin, Mr. Rasagin, there we go. And you are staying with us tonight in Bradley House itself.
Okay, ISO2, give me a wide shot.
Okay, if there's anything that I can help you with, don't hesitate to ask.
Okay.
And I'll just take you through to the library here. John and Mark, who the conference organisers, are here. That's John standing up there.
Hi, how are you? Hi, Jody, John. Nice to meet you, mate. Come on in. How you doing?
I run my own business. Yeah.
I bet you're all really nervous.
So what do you do at Plymouth?
I did do a social work degree. I've just finished it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Steve.
Oh, hi, Jody.
Nice to meet you, Jody.
Well, welcome again, everyone. It's lovely to have you all here. It's a couple of quick, short parish notices, basically. First of all, there are a couple of areas that are out of bounds, I'm afraid. We've got a few offices that are working out of the stable block. So basically, anything at the rear of the house is pretty much out of bounds. Local amenities. If you go into the village itself, Maiden Bradley, all that's there is a post office and a police station. So if you need anything, the best idea is to come and see us, and we'll provide everything that you need.
Okay, so let's begin the experiment. So there are 3 things that I need to do in order to make Jody confess to that most horrible of crimes, a murder, and one that he didn't commit. And the first one is to create some triggers that I can fire to make him feel guilty whenever I want him to. So the way we're going to do that is to create some situations where he will feel guilty, and then whenever he's at the peak of that guilt, the actors are going to squeeze him on the shoulder, or I'm going to fire a sound of a bell off through the hotel, which I can do by pressing the button on here. That creates a bell sound that will play through the hotel. Now, what will happen is he'll begin to associate the feeling of guilt with the squeeze on the shoulder and with the bell sound. And then I'll be able to fire those off to make him feel guilty. And that's just like when you hear a song that you first heard when you broke up with somebody, and then whenever you hear it again, it just makes you feel awful.
And so what will you talk about tomorrow?
I'm not 100% sure, because again, I'm not sure what's required of me.
So what's going to happen next is the course organisers are going to take Jody out into the corridor, and then they're going to make him feel guilty. They're going to start that off. So we just need the sound nice and clear on that, because I'm going to play the bell sound in the hotel. Okay. Cheers.
Don't babble in your speech.
Hey mate, just want to double check, like you got everything for your speech tomorrow.
I expect probably what I'll do is talk a little bit about the things that I've done.
John, I've just found out I haven't invited Alex Betteridge.
I feel awful about this.
Oh, no, it's that horrible.
That's a feeling, you know, when you get guilty in your stomach. When do you get that though?
Yeah,
like when you feel guilty, where does it sort of,
it kind of just stays there, you know, just keep a hold of it.
It's in the gut, that's the thing.
Yeah,
But you feel sick. You feel like physically.
Well, I feel sick, but I get a dry mouth. What do you get?
Dry mouth as well.
A dry mouth.
I get floors. I got like it's awful, isn't it?
In your...
It's in the pit.
In the pit?
Yeah.
I don't know, the pit of your stomach.
Are you all right about the speech tomorrow?
Yeah, fine.
Don't work yourself up over it.
No,
Because,
no,
Mm.
like, honestly, obviously there's some really incredible speakers, so don't
A lot
feel
of
guilty. Divorce them. It'll be
It's all right.
It'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine.
So hopefully we've started to get Jody to associate the feelings of guilt with the squeeze on the shoulder and the sound of the bell. Now, normally those feelings of needless guilt come because we've transgressed some rule laid down by an authority figure, whether it's a parent or God or whoever it is. So we need an authority figure, somebody that Jody really admires. We know that he's a big fan of the Australian comedian and musician Tim Minchin. So Tim is here to provide some entertainment at the conference, but to also play a major part in Jody's conditioning.
You're happy for me to go as far as I want. What I'm not doing is saying, no, there was nothing. I was like, I miss her.
Jody has no knowledge that his hero is coming tonight.
Nice to see you,
Oh,
man.
Jack.
You're all right.
You're Jack.
Yeah, exactly. How's it going?
Nice to see you. Yeah, good.
Good. So glad you made it.
Hi.
Sorry.
Hi.
Oh, this is Tim,
Hi,
this is Jody, and
Jody?
Ellie.
Do you know what the most surreal thing is? That I've actually got a DVD of yours in my...
In your bag?
suitcase.
In your suitcase?
No.
That's a little bit.
That's a little bit surreal.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plan tonight is to make Jody feel that he has really offended somebody that he massively admires. And that will create a very powerful feeling of guilt and further embed those guilt triggers.
I've been studying so hard in the last year of my final year of university. I was disappointed because I wanted to come and see you in London.
Oh, right.
I know you were gigging in London
Yeah.
recently. And when are you next going to be in England?
It'll probably be a while before I do another tour.
Right.
Damn.
Okay, so although Jody's done nothing wrong, the actors are now going to make him feel really guilty.
I think he just upset him.
Oh my God.
I did look a bit upset.
His face changed a bit. It's like, it's,
What
yeah.
did I say?
It sounded very much like you said, don't be a And that's when his face changed and he walked off, didn't he?
It did. It really did. I mean, I know you might use that sort of language at home, but I would find that really quite offensive.
No,
I mean,
I would as well.
I'm sure you called him a I'm sure
I didn't even mean to say that. I didn't say it. I didn't even know what I was saying.
You might have said hunt
said...
or I don't know why you'd say hunt, but it might have been.
I thought it was just...
You were feeling bad?
I feel terrible.
he looked quite upset.
He did.
I'll be 2 minutes.
Are they okay?
The gentleman with the longer hair.
Oh, you mean Mr. Minchin?
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's just popped out for a few minutes.
Just popped outside.
I think so. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure which way.
Is he going off to Francine? Cool. Don't go out. Don't go outside. Ali. Nick, he's left. We don't want him coming round here. Nick, get him back inside the house. He might head round to where we are.
Guys, keep an eye on those cameras. See if he's coming around the front.
Well, he might not come down. I feel I might have offended him.
You right, mate? We were just having a conversation with Tim, and we were talking, and I thought it was all casual and pleasant, and then suddenly he walked off, and the Reverend said that it sounded like I said to him that he was a and I would never say that to him.
Next, Holly, his girlfriend, is going to give him a call, and we'll be able to find out now how he's really feeling. Holly is in on this, by the way.
How are you? How's it going?
Yeah. Okay. A little bit weird. There's kind of good things and bad things. We've got some comedy.
Any good?
It's Tim Minchin. He just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and I was like, oh my God.
I can't believe
I've been speaking to him all night, and then Tim just kind of wandered off. He just walked off. What did I say? And they said, well, it sounded like you called him a
What?
And I was like, I said, what? I would never say such a thing.
That's probably just a big misunderstanding and it'll blow over.
Well, it is. It is. That's the point. It is a big misunderstanding. Whatever I said, I never meant to say anything offensive.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
I certainly can't go any worse.
Poor old Jody, and he has no idea just how much worse his weekend is going to get. So, with phase 1 now complete, we can make Jody feel guilty whenever we want him to with our triggers. And the second phase is now to make him doubt his own memory, so that later on he can be confused as to whether or not he might have done something to feel guilty about. And the way we're going to do it is by creating a series of inexplicable changes around him, beginning with Dr. Black's red tie.
So don't underestimate the power of networking.
So Dr. Black will start talking about networking and then start handing out application forms.
Then you're looking at a situation where 50 people in that group become 500 contacts.
So he's handing out the application forms.
Excuse me,
camera 14. His tie is going to change colour as he does this, so we'll need to be on that.
I started going to this guy's meetings, started listening to what he had to say about employing younger college graduates, trying to understand exactly what he was looking for. Now, give me your attention for just 1 second. One of the issues with effective listening, I think, is that we believe the literate more than the oral. If it's written down, we seem to think that it's more important. And I'm telling you that
the point is you don't notice, but it's just to make him
so I think if any of you
suddenly start to question his capacity to remember things properly.
Thank you so much for your warm welcome. I'm not sure it's deserved yet, but I'm Alice Plummer, and I am a professor of theatre in the University of Glasgow.
He's seen that this is what Alice is wearing today. She's been wearing this at breakfast and everything as well.
All day, yeah.
So he's had plenty of time to absorb that that's what she's wearing. Yeah.
Interview techniques. We've got preparation.
Here we go. Are we on it? Can we be on it?
Prepare to fail. You know that. That's the key. Appearance. Is what I'm wearing presenting me well? Relaxation. They want you to be the one. Meet them with confidence. It's the one thing that students don't do. They go into that interview and they don't smile. These are the tools to show us all of our learning off in a nice package. There's no point in going in and not being able to communicate your education. I think they're doing brilliant work, and I'm absolutely honoured to be here. Thank you.
Jody, if you want to come up.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. See you on the screen. While Jody's giving his talk, I'm going to sneak into the house and mess around with one of the rooms he's become most familiar with.
So it's gone. You continue.
As a student or as a
Say tomorrow all day. Yeah. Yeah.
So most of the changes have been quite subtle up to this point, but we're going to see how he reacts to something that happens right under his nose.
Sorry to interrupt. Sorry, just to get clarification from what you said earlier. You said the size of the bathrooms. What did you say? Bathrooms? No, not late. Okay, no, sorry. Just wait 1 second. Sorry, if... Make sure that there's, you said transported. So, you don't have to worry about any of that. And obviously all the files and this, that, and that. Okay? Great. So, sorry again. That's great, thank you.
Amazing way of... But it's about having it set up as you go.
Did I eat all my fish?
No. I think I have, yeah.
I mean, not...
But that is my absolute favourite fish.
I'm suddenly minus half of my fish.
So, John Dory is sort of a bit of a game.
I don't remember eating all of it. It's just gone.
I've had it in...
No, it's fine.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just...
I must have eaten it. I must have eaten it all. I just didn't. I just thought I had a bit left.
OK, so we now need a dry run for the murder itself, just to make sure that everything's working. So Dan, the house manager's going to come in and say that the Duchess's priceless pearl necklace has been stolen. And Jack's going to say that he saw Jody with it earlier on, which, of course, isn't true. And it's to see now whether a combination of Jody doubting his own memory to the extent that he might question whether or not he could have had it, and the guilt that I'm going to trigger by setting off the bell sound will be enough to make Jody believe that he could have actually stolen it and then go and confess to it.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt, but an item of jewellery has gone missing. It's a pearl necklace. Normally it's kept in a display cabinet behind locked doors, but for some reason that particular cabinet has been unlocked for the last few days. So if anybody has found anything...
Jody, was that the one you had last night? In the clasp? You were just holding it by the window in the drawing room. You were definitely holding it. I'm not saying you did it, but you were holding it last night. You know, three sets of pearls and it had a kind of clasp on it.
If you do see it, then please come and find me. I'll probably be around the desk.
John to send Jody up to this room to get the shirt.
I'll grab my shirt. I'm gonna go. Yeah, that's right, mate.
Here goes.
Oh.
Guilt, anger is triggered.
Look, he's hidden it.
Oh, we know he's feeling guilty. He's hidden it.
You'll be absolutely fine.
If you're fighting, you have to do.
He's given the shirt to John. That's who he was getting it from.
You're okay, aren't you?
All right, yeah, I don't know.
don't look okay.
Very funny.
Do you? Why is that?
Let's get a tight 2 shot on camera 6.
These pearls.
Yeah.
Jack said that he saw me with them last night.
Okay.
I don't remember having them.
Right.
I'm sure I've never seen him in my life.
You have them in your room?
I don't know how they got there.
Oh, that's okay. No, that's all right. Just go and get them and say you found them.
Who do I give them to?
Give them to Dan. Give them to me if you like. I'll say I found them.
No, I should do it myself.
Are you sure?
I should. What if it was me that took them?
If it was me that took them.
Yeah, I should, really.
He's questioning it, isn't he? He's
Going upstairs.
doubting his own memory.
I won't say anything.
It looks like the dry run to get Jody to confess to something he hasn't done is working. He's responded well to the guilt trigger. We've managed to make him doubt his own memory, and he's starting to believe he took the pearls, which we know he didn't do.
What if it was me that took them?
Because he's confused by events, young, compliant, and exposed to fake information, he fits exactly the profile of the thousands of people who make false confessions to the police every year.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh, no, don't worry. It's absolutely terrible. Got them back. That's absolutely fine. We'll just say that we found them. Don't worry. Thank you so much.
Go and walk out and stay on camera 1 on Jody.
That's great. I am going to go through and see them.
Okay, so phases 1 and 2 are now complete. We can make him feel guilty whenever we want by using the triggers, and he's doubting his own memory. Third phase is to now give him a sense of a motive. Nothing serious, but just enough that will play on his mind later on. So I've asked Dr. Black to be pretty rude and obnoxious to people within Jody's earshot, and he's been doing that since he arrived.
What was it about you that made you think you didn't need a suit for this weekend? See what I mean? You behave like this to your family, too? Sort of gorilla push?
Family out of it.
Come on, Patrick.
Scarlett, get a hold of yourself. You've had a little too much to drink.
You are someone else. Really fucking someone else.
Phyllis, relax.
Now we're going to create a further possible motive in Jody's mind over a game of croquet.
2 giants of croquet. Let's go.
Whip his ass, Jody.
So, grab your weapons. Bash somebody's head in with this thing. You got your wallet with you? You got 20 quid in there? I'll put the 20 against everything in my wallet. Shit. You know, the rules are flexible. Good work. Aren't you in that left room over there? Anyway, kid.
Cheating at that, don't you? He was kicking it when you were there. It is. But I was looking at him and he was...
I didn't even see. Apparently, Patrick was cheating.
What, and he took your money? How sad is that he felt like he had to cheat on a game of croquet? Yeah. Bloody hell. No need for that, is there?
Oh, you're a star. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
There's no limit to what they can order, is there? Fantastic. I've told the actors to get Jody drunk. It's important.
Have the champagne. Go on, lad.
Who's not got one?
Drinking each hand, Jody. Look at you.
No, I haven't.
Thank you very much, Steve.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. You were black and I were white. You would always win the fight. Bang, bang. He shot me down. Bang, bang. I hit the ground. Bang, bang. That awful sound. Bang, bang. My baby shot
It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and for the next stage to work, I need to talk to Jody remotely while he's asleep. Now, that would normally wake him up, but what I'll be telling him are instructions to remain asleep. And because I know that he's an open and compliant and therefore fairly suggestible person, this should keep him in a sort of a mid-state between wake and sleep, a dreamy state of inertia called a hypnopompic state. And I need him to be there because I need him to remain asleep while we get him into position. Jody had a lot to drink last night as well, which makes it easier. We've wired up the television in his room so that we can play in a recording of my voice.
Jody, you can hear my voice, but you can continue to sleep. You can sleep, Jody, sleep nice and deeply. I want you to remain nice and deeply asleep. It's just a dream of my voice. You will remain asleep. You can remain in the sleep with your eyes closed, deeply asleep.
Downstairs, stand by 18.
Okay. Yep, he's coming down. This is where we want him to start doubting his own memory as to what happened early this morning.
20 to 18, see please, as he comes down.
Here he comes.
Thank you.
Into breakfast.
Brilliant.
No problem. Here he is. Jody. Come down here. How you doing, lad?
What was going on?
A little late.
You slammed your door at like 5 in the morning.
Woke Ellie and I up. I'm not kidding.
You were in your dressing gown. I poked my head out because it was really loud. I was like, "Are you all right?" And you were like, "Yeah, I'm fine."
And you were stood at the front in a dressing gown, and I thought, I'm going back to bed. It's 5 a.m.
Jody, what were you doing? You don't remember?
Maybe you were. I was outside. I know that.
You know you were outside.
When I've drunk champagne before, I do have a tendency to forget.
Yeah, he's starting to buy it, isn't he? Yeah. That's good.
Did you see Patrick? Because he goes for walks, doesn't he?
Have you seen Patrick?
No.
He'll be about.
No, he gets up early. All right, morning, everyone. Very rowdy this morning. Welcome, and thank you for yesterday, guys.
Are we ready to spring our bombshell? Okay, this conference he thinks is here for is about to become rather nasty.
Yesterday.
I just wanted to sort of go to finish with kind of where he's...
Mark, would it be okay if I just had a chat with everyone? It's okay, thank you. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I've got an important announcement to make. Will you all just, I'll kindly ask you to remain in the building, please. Please don't leave. Following an incident last night, the police would like to come and talk to you. I can't really give any more details than that, I'm afraid.
What do you mean an incident? You mean like a robbery?
I can't really go.
I found a body on my way into work this morning.
There was a body
There's been a
found.
murder.
There was a body found on the grounds last night. Can't really go into any more details than that. But please do remain in the building.
Was it? Well, who?
I think it was the American guy.
It's Patrick Black. We can't be sure. The police will confirm, and the police will give you all the information that you need. Now, at least remain in the building, preferably in this room, if I could.
Oh my God.
Are you all right, Jody?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Detective Inspector Palmer. This is my colleague, DS Sykes. As you appreciate, I understand you've just been told the news that there has been a death overnight here, and we have to be treating this as suspicious. We need to speak to everyone, and we will be speaking to you individually. We will have a duty solicitor present, just in case you want to speak to them.
All the conditioning stages of the plan are coming together. You can see the guilt and the memory doubt and the motive all surfacing in his mind. But I want to see what the actors think. So while they're going for their interviews, I'm going to go and talk to them because he's looking quite stressed.
Mr. Stephen White, please.
What's it like in there? It's all quite emotional, isn't it?
See, it's just totally real for him. He's definitely just in, you know, in that kind of shock.
Yeah.
Of not knowing what's happening.
You're right, Jody. You sure?
Reverend Jenny Green.
That's me. He's not feeling very well. Just very, very quiet. You can sort of see him.
See the cogs turning again.
No, they're not trying to trick you or catch you out.
Could I have Ellie, please?
But he was reassured by Jenny saying, they don't ask you any hard questions, and Alice was saying, don't make anything up, just tell them what you know. If you don't know it, don't say anything. He was like, right, yeah.
No, we've got here at like 5 or something.
I didn't see much. That's all
right. Jody just sort of suddenly lost all his colour. You all right, man?
Could I have Jody, please? Jody? Let's come through.
All right, Ellie.
How's he doing?
He's really beginning to put the jigsaw pieces together from last night.
Yeah. Let's see how he gets on with the detectives. Come on through. Put yourself in.
Hello. Mr. For a second, is it? This is Mr. Barron, who's the duty solicitor. Okay, if you'd like to just take a seat. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all we're trying to do is to find out exactly what happened to poor Mr. Black. How did you actually get on with Dr. Black?
We were okay.
Yeah. Sometimes he could be quite blunt.
Sometimes he was a bit rude.
Right. Do you drink a great deal? Are you
not usually.
No.
No.
What about last night? Did you?
You know, I had a few drinks last night and the night before.
Yeah. And how did you sleep last night then? Was that okay?
Last night I slept the best I've ever slept in my life. I think.
Really?
He's not mentioning it.
Yeah, I was out like a light.
Yeah.
And they had to knock on my door in the morning.
Wow.
To say breakfast was being served.
But yet people say they saw you walking around the house. What was that all about?
I honestly don't know.
Do you suffer with memory loss normally?
Sometimes when I've drunk champagne, In the past,
yes,
I have had some memory loss.
Okay, so let's perhaps put our cards on the table here. What happened this morning? Where did you wake up?
I woke up outside.
And yet you said just now that they had to knock on your door for breakfast at 9 o'clock.
Well, yeah, well, I went back to bed.
Right. And you woke up outside, but how did you get there? Do you know? Okay, Mr. Russuggan, I'm very grateful for you to come in, and we'll work our way through all the others and have a chat with them. And
are you sure you're right? You look like maybe you want to say something.
That's right.
All right, Jody.
That's right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'll walk back through with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Nick, he hasn't confessed. Can we get the police out of there? Thank you. Can we get the police out? He just needs a bit more time, I think.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
He's going to leave. He's going to leave.
Going outside.
That's fine. He's leaving the front door.
No cameras outside? Can we see through a window?
Yeah, basically get the window shot.
Can we go through a window, please? Nick, we can't see him and it's gone.
He's running down the path towards the entrance of the gate.
He's running offside.
He's gone to the police station in the village.
Right, okay.
So what's been happening?
A friend of ours was I believe, was killed. I woke up in the middle of the grounds in the garden. I don't know why or how I got there, but
okay.
It's kind of coming together and...
The police station is just up here on the right.
So, what makes you think you've been involved?
There's a 2-hour gap between 5 and 7 o'clock where I was either asleep or...
Is that something you might do?
Whether I was conscious or not.
We've obviously been aware of what's been going on up at the house, and we had these come off the printer a short while ago, and this is where this is how it's been played out. And I don't know if these jog your memory at all. This is how the doctor was found, the blood splatters on the walls.
OK, this has gone far enough.
Do you think you might have done something?
I think I might. I think I killed him.
OK, all right. This is obviously quite a serious situation now, and before we go any further, I need to go make a couple of phone calls, all right? Yeah. And then we can take on from there, all right?
What are you doing here?
I'm admitting to a murder.
OK. How are you feeling at the moment? What's...
confused a bit.
I met you a while back. You applied to be on one of my TV shows.
Yes.
Yeah. You didn't kill Dr. Black. You didn't kill Dr. Black because he isn't dead. And he isn't dead because there was no murder. And there was no murder because the whole thing was staged. It was acted. It was an experiment about how we can be manipulated by guilt and whether you would confess, whether you would hand yourself in for murder that you didn't commit. Everybody in that house was an actor.
No.
There's no student futures. It was just made up. These aren't real police. We couldn't film in here, we couldn't take a camera in here. This isn't even a real police station. Look, it's not even a real building. It's made of paper.
Oh my God.
How lovely to see you.
I'm really cold.
One of the reasons why I chose you for this, because you're basically the nicest guy in the world, and all these guys have just fallen in love with you, and that's why you'd be the last person to ever do anything like this, which is why I wanted to use you.
Thanks.
Would you like a drink?
Not champagne.
Got your camera up there.
I convinced myself that I'd done it, and I thought, I just can't believe that I've done something like this. What have I done? I've actually killed somebody. Wow. I'd remembered the hotel manager had said there's only a police station and I think a post office down the road. So I walked down the road and put myself in.
How are you feeling now at the moment? What's kind of...
I'm relieved I didn't kill anybody.
I couldn't stop laughing at the end. I thought it was hilarious that I'd been drawn in so far and I just accepted it.
Tim Minchin obviously in on it too. He was in on it as well. Yeah, and he was going to cancel everything so that he could be here today, but he couldn't. He just ended up not being able to cancel it, but sends his love.
I've learnt that I can be easily led, certainly, if there's a big enough group of people.
Do you forgive us for putting you through it?
Absolutely, I forgive you. It was just such a great experience, you know. It was wonderful, magnificent. Words can't describe it.